Are you able to hear my voice?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, your voice is fine, sir. Yep.
Voice is fine? Okay. So Bharati, let us know when we can get started.
Yep, we can start.
Okay. So welcome all again for this week's session on law of one, the perspective of law of one and I am Ra, right? So as we have understood in the past couple of sessions that it is all about spreading that love, living in the life of unity, living with service to others versus service to self. One path is a positive perspective, other path is a, I am great kind of a self, purely, self-oriented. Both will eventually lead to the truth, both will eventually lead to the infinite creator, but service to others have got a faster path because they are serving others, they are seeing what they are themselves in others. Right? So in that perspective, if you're looking at unity, love, compassion, gratitude, some of these things are coming from service to others, while the rest of it, which is control, I want to control this, judgmental, and more so, I am the one kind of an attitude is coming from the service to self. So on the same lines, we spoke about last week about 2 or 3 scenarios as to how do I bring it together. Now the perspective is very clear, right? How do I react? How do I respond? How do I look at things? How do I feel things? Whatever may be happening to me in any given situation, the law of one perspective is to look for love within that. No moment is a bad moment. No moment is a worst moment. Every moment is good. Every moment is a journey. Every moment is learning. That's the perspective. That's the perspective of one infinite creator. So if I try to put that in our lives, right, each of our lives, how do I pursue that? How do I see love in everything? We spoke about 2, 3 examples. Say, when someone speaks to you very harshly, right? How do I look at it? When I am stuck in traffic, a long queue is awaited. How do I get out of it? How do I look at it? When somebody broke my heart, a devastating loss has happened in the family or greater family, etc. Right? How do I look at it? When you are helping someone in need, right? How do I look at it? Am I looking at what is your ordinary reaction? Right? So these are very, very important moments. These moments are coming to us in our lives again and again, because they are catalysts. What is catalyst? Catalyst is an opportunity for us to learn and grow. So the law of one perspective. So what is happening is I am ignoring the movement or I am destroying the movement. You're ignoring the movement it is taking a U-turn and coming back to it. You're destroying the movement means you're going and adding more karma for yourself. You're increasing the intensity of the situation to come back again with a much higher fold. Because what you're supposed to learn, we are not learning, number one. Number two, we are trying to destroy the situation. That this cannot come to me ever and ever. Right? Like the example that we spoke about is when you are helping someone, what is our ordinary reaction? The ordinary reaction can be an obligation. It is because of an obligation you are helping a friend, or you are, in that moment a savior, that you are able to help him out, or it is because of that pride and arrogance that you may feel that, okay, now I have the upper hand, I had to take this and I'm doing it, right? But instead, if we take this as an opportunity to say that all souls are same, I have self, others are also self, and this is an opportunity for me to help my own self, because in this process I am growing myself. If you are consciously aware, that's the point, right? Consciously aware, and you are in the service to others, you have accepted service to others as a path for you to go to enlightenment, for you to go to the path of truth. Then what happens eventually is, you may miss it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, but eventually what will happen is these things are coming back to you. These things will resonate to you. You will try to look for love in that moment. Okay, even I am helping my friend. My friend is going through a miserable situation. He's got a lot of stuff going on, emotionally very active, mentally very weak. He's going through a lot of trauma, a lot of conflict within himself and all that. But even then, you will not judge, you will not react, and you will absolutely not go and make yourself more comfortable. How do you make yourself comfortable? Is you are kind of a god in the situation, right? You're behaving as if that I am the god, I am the one helping you, kind of an attitude, right? So what happens when you are in those situations is, instead of you learning out of that situation where, okay, if I am helping someone, how do I need to balance myself? If I am hurting someone, how do I need to balance myself, right? In both situations, good and bad, there is a way that we need to bring it together. If I miss that concept of what that is, then the point of lesson has no value. There is no learning. This is where we have to understand the basics of learning, right? Learning, what is learning? Can anyone talk about what are the four basic concepts of learning? This is not spiritual. This is a regular material topic that you probably would have learned when you're learning topics. Anyone?
Listening. Then
So listening. Okay, listening. What? Listening what?
Listening the concept. I mean, if I wanted to learn something, first I will listen to somebody who can explain me the concept, or I learn on my own.
Okay.
And then contemplate on that concept and put it into practice so that I understand thoroughly in practicals.
It's good. Yeah, in a way it is like that, but there are technical terms for that, right? Unconsciously incompetent, consciously incompetent, and then consciously competent, and then unconsciously competent, right? So what does it mean is, I'll give you the context, right? In this example that we were talking about, when you are trying to help your buddy, this situation is giving you an opportunity to balance the energies. But instead, what typically we do is we go and you show that you are superior, right? But instead, you're not superior, but you're kind of showing that you're superior, right? How do I need to act? How do I need to not react? Both we should know, right? What should be done in a situation like that? What I should not be doing in that situation. If I only know the one way of it, the other way is going to come back, right? So when you are talking about seeking love, what am I learning out of this is, ideally you are feeling, you have that impression within you that I am helping someone who is my other self. I am self. The other person is also self. So I am helping self is. So myself is helping the other self. That's the thinking. Number one, right? That's the wisdom that you carry. Second thing, that is, you are not superior. this is an opportunity where you are kind of, when you feel that everything that is coming your way is an opportunity that was given to you for you to learn, there is no pride, there is no attitude. It is all about gratitude. It is all about humility, right? And and then you align back to the creator, right? How do I align back to the creator? Is when I have those kind of very, very grounded actions, like humility, like gratitude, like love, like compassion, like I'm not the superior, right? I'm kind of, we are working together. This is an opportunity for me. See, that is where the learning is. I have to balance the situation, even though I am not the one suffering. In the last week cases, we talked about opportunities where you are suffering and how do you come out of it, right? Hey, I'm going through certain situation. How do I come out? How do I look balance? How do I balance it? So we spoke about at length. Now today we are talking about a happy situation where you are having absolute abundance, and yet how do you bring that balance? Naturally, what happens is when there is a pain going on, when there is suffering going on, when there is some kind of negative emotion that hits us, it is easy to get carried away. And then we talked about how do I bring it back, how do I look at love and all that. But in a positive movement, you are so carried away that you are not even tied to the situation anymore, because you are here. Situation is here, you are here, because it's not impacting you in any ways. So even in that situation, you need to bring that back. So that's where the learning comes. So when you are trying to learn, so there are 4 phases we just spoke about, right? In this scenario, we'll just talk about 4 phases, right? Unconsciously incompetent means, like for example, let's take, an easy example like meditation. Okay, we are all meditators, right? We take example of meditation. I don't know about meditation. I am not aware that there is something called meditation that exists. That is unconscious and incompetent, which is naturally the state for material people who are living in the drama of the family, in the drama of the karmic cycles, right? They may not even be aware that there is something called meditation, and they don't know, obviously, because they are not aware of it, they don't even know it, right? That's one phase of it. Every one of us had it at any given point of time, whether it has come through your birth state, or it has come from your previous lives, whatever it may be the scenario. Every one of us will go through these 4 scenarios to make sure that there is a learning happening first. So first phase is unconscious, incompetent. I don't know, I am not aware. Then slowly what happens, you become more conscious. That's where you probably heard from someone saying that, hey, there is something called meditation, and this is such a good thing for healing, for health, for any issues that you may have. It can get you from smallest of the smallest to the greatest of the greatest, to the to even enlightenment is possible through this path, and all of that. You heard about it. Now you are conscious, but you're still incompetent, because you have started to see people who have learned about this meditation. They are able to do meditation, they are able to get experiences, they are able to go into astral travel, they are able to get the third eye, they are able to get alter experiences. But here I have nothing. Now I know about it, but you are looking at others and you are feeling that pressure, that stress, that that judgmental thinking, that, hey, how come it is working for them, it's not working for me. That's the second state, where you start to see things from others' perspective and you don't know what it is. So in this case, I don't know yet. I mean, you probably are trying to know about it, but then you are aware of it. Through others, you are aware of it, and you have seen others who have done very well. The second phase. Then comes the third phase, where after you have seen others, after you have understood what this is all about, now you are trying to bring that into your life, which is the conscious competency. Now what you do is, okay, now that this has been working with everyone who I have met, and everybody is giving this positive review of meditation, I should also probably do this. Then you start to take it seriously. This is called mastery. All pyramid masters have completed this phase, or the fourth phase, mastery. You are a pyramid master. What does it mean? That you have experienced what you have been looking, what you have been learning. You have experienced. You have a touch of your own thing on this. It's no longer a bookish knowledge. It's no longer he said it, who said it. It is about what you have experienced. It may very well be said by a master or a scripture, but you have an experience tied to that. That is the third mastery. You are learning, you have learned, and you are aware that there is something like this going on. Right? Then comes the fourth concept, where you are now saying that, hey, I have completed this. I have a full mastery on this subject. I am the one. Whatever that learning that you are trying to get out of it, that learning is 100% with me. I have successfully completed that. I got to move to the next phase. Right? In that case, you are unconscious. So what happens? It becomes a pattern for you in your life. So in this case, for meditation, in the first phase, you don't know about it. You're not aware of it. In the second phase, you are little bit aware of it because people were talking about it, but then you do not have any experience. You kind of understood the importance of it. You heard from so many people are getting a lot of great experiences, but you have tried it, but nothing happened. Second phase. Third phase, you have learned the skill of it. You have really understood what meditation is all about, how to do meditation, what kind of experiences you get in meditation, what are the things that you can make this such a beautiful thing. You have understood that, and then you are also aware of it. And then finally, the fourth, which is the mastery. You have become that master. That means unconsciously, you are able to do this without in your daily practice. It is not like bringing it back to you every time. I should not remember myself that, okay, am I doing meditation this week? Am I looking at any wisdom sessions? Do I have to look at morning meditation or afternoon? It is a natural part of you which is happening unconsciously, which is like habit, right? So now in the fourth state, what happens when you have mastered it? It is not like somebody is coming and reminding you that, hey, did you do your meditation today? When you are conscious, incompetent, you are experiencing it, you have learned about it, but you have not mastered it. In that phase, it may very well be so that somebody is reminding you, somebody is asking you, hey, I've got this experience. Have you experienced anything lately? No, I did not. Oh, I didn't get a chance to do it for the last 3 days, phase 3. And we are after phase 3 and phase 4. That's where pyramid masters are. Where you have mastered the technique of meditation and you have understood at length about what it is. Consciously competent. Unconsciously competent. Sorry. With unconscious, it becomes part of your DNA. It's a brain tattoo here, right? So you just go do it naturally, that now nobody can come to you and say, hey, let's talk about meditation. You go and talk about meditation to everyone else because it's becoming your DNA. There is nobody coming and teaching you, or there is nobody coming and talking to you because you are the one going and preaching everywhere. If somebody comes and talks to you, you're so beautiful ears that, hey, it's a music to your ears, you want to listen. Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead. How does it come? It comes with mastery. Everything goes through these 4 phases. So when you are listening to a particular master, when you are getting an experience from a particular master, or when you are reading a book, and then you're trying to understand what that master is talking about, right? All of us go through these phases. In this case, for law of one, you have never heard about it, you don't know anything about it. Then came the phase where You heard from someone else that there is this book called so and so. It's an excellent book. You need to read it. Yes, you said, okay, you got interested, but you didn't spend enough time on it. You just, glanced it. It was all bouncing because it's at very high frequency. In the third phase, you started to look at it. You started to digest some of the details, but you have not been able to implement it. But others who have implemented have got a very good progress. Now you have started to see, you wanted to learn now in the third phase, but you're not there yet because you have not put your time and effort into it fully. But others who have done it, you're looking at it, oh, okay. Then you come and then you master it, take 2 or 3 concepts from this book and say that, okay, I want to master it. I am what I'm looking for, what I'm trying to learn. I have become that. So the shift has to happen. At some point, the shift has to happen for every one of us, irrespective of what state you are in, whether you are in the material state, spiritual state, higher spiritual state, enlightened state, it doesn't really matter. Every one of us will have to go through these 4 phases. So what is happening, now coming back to the discussion, when I am trying to put anything into perspective in a way that I want to look at it, I want to understand it, I wanted to connect to it, right? How do I look at it is the way. Am I looking at it in a way that I wanted to learn or outgrow from it? Or am I looking at it as if that the situation is a pitiful situation? It is that thought that makes the fundamental difference. So friends, this is a very, very important part where the law of one, I am Ra, is kind of, teaching us that in any given situation, whether it is a negative or positive, good, bad, ugly, whatever may be the situation, there is always learning if you are able to look through it. And that can only happen when you are consciously aware. So that is the reason why awareness is the most important thing. We spoke about it a little bit last time, right? And awareness comes through meditation. Meditation is the excellent platform through which you can build awareness. It is because of lack of awareness, you are allowing your thoughts to outplay you. You are allowing your actions to outplay you. You are allowing your emotions to carry forward. So much of science is talking about a lot of these things in a very methodical way. Hey, what you think, social you become. How do I do that? Hey, you have something called thinking, you have something called feeling, you have something called doing, and eventually you have something called being, right? And there is a whole process out there, a chemical reaction happening in your entire system, how these gets connected, neocortex and all the process, to the cerebellum, how it goes, and from there, how the whole thing operates. Everything is there scientifically. But if you look at it from a top-down approach, in a teaching perspective, it is very, very simple, right? The knowledge that is being given to us is in every context, it is valid. Every situation that is happening to you in your life is for you to learn, and learn alone. There is nothing else. You are here to learn. That's it. If I am able to take this one statement, right? I am here to learn from the law of one. That's pretty much it. There's nothing else we need to do. Then you are always a seeker. You are always learning. You are a learner. That's it. There is no ego. There is no pride. There is no arrogance. There is no duality. There is no judgments. There is nothing. Everything is gone. All the emotional clutter is out of your life. If you are able to stick on to this one thing and one thing alone. And that's why it's very important to read to some of the master's teachings again and again. And this will not resonate in a one shot. You will have to keep repeating yourself to make sure that in every situation, am I be able to be in that state, right? So there was a question, someone was asking me, hey, I am emotionally very charged in a situation. I'm very charged in a situation. I went ahead and did what I did. But in that process, while I am doing it, in that process, I realized, right? What do I do? I said, the simple answer is you withdraw. You withdraw from that very situation, what you are in right now. For example, when things are triggering emotionally, when you are trying to hit or hate someone or kind of fighting with someone or altercating with someone, you went so far and then the war of words is going on. In this war of words, in second version or third version of war of words, you realized what you do. The moment you become conscious, see the fact that the war of words have got entertained between the parties means both of them are unconscious. They're not consciously aware. Please note that when I said unconscious, it's not the mastery of the thing. It's about I'm not aware of the situation and both of them are going back and forth because of the war of words. In the second instance, you realize that, okay, you are trying to teach something to someone and someone is not able to grasp it. At that point, what you do, you withdraw from it. Right? Sometimes you raise your voice. Sometimes you give it in a way that people understand it, but then people are not in an emotional state to accept what you're trying to give them. Then what you do, you withdraw from the situation. Right? Instead of trying to blame the other person that you are this, you are that and all, you're trying to withdraw from the situation to say that, okay, I did my part, I'm done. And that requires you to be in that awareness state. So the mastery of it is not going through that phase. Someone was asking me, how, so is that still it is not mastery. You're learning, you're better off, much better off than a situation where the whole drama went in and emotionally everybody acted, reacted, and the whole thing went. And eventually you realized at some point that, hey, this was not the right thing to do. Versus you realizing in the middle of the situation and you are withdrawing is better. But the best thing, and what masters are suggesting, is do not get into that situation to begin with. How? It's only in one and only way, awareness, consciously aware. And that's what I'm saying. It is not just about the thinking aspect of it. Even in the doing aspect of it, even in the emotional state, you are very much balanced. Whether a big thing happened in your life, a small thing happened in your life, all you have is that awareness. That's it. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to balance it. No matter what may be the situation, left or right, you're always coming into the middle. Because you are remembering yourself, you kind of, it become your DNA now with the practice. You're trying to come into the middle and then trying to look at, okay, I need to be in the middle. This may come, this may go, this may come, this may go, but I am always in the middle, right? And that is what we need to implement. And that is the practice that Law of One, I am right, teaching us, right? That seeking that love in every moment, right? And using that emotion as a doorway for healing, for choosing to be in awareness over a altercated reaction, right? That's the most important thing. And that can only come to us with practice, my dear friends. Without practice, this is all, you can talk for 100 hours on a book. It doesn't really matter. If you are not practicing it, at least the one teaching that came out from the books, it is futile. It is just going to be a mind exercise, right? It's not going to give you anything. So when you talk about aspects as to what is happening in my life, certain things are happening, certain good is happening, bad is happening, it is all happening in your mind. You just don't know it. That's it. You just don't have the wisdom or the greater understanding that this is all happening in your own mind. There is no enemy out there. If we say the truth, you may not digest it. Each of us will have our own wisdom at this point, right? Because I have acquired so much in my 30 years or 20 years, whatever I have been studying. And each of you have acquired your own base of knowledge and wisdom through your own path, right? Whatever the path is. Now, if that absolute truth is coming in your life, and like, the teachings of Ra or Seth or some of these higher teachings are coming, Ramta, it is a jolt to you. It's a jolt, right? For us, right? Say, no, how can I, what he's saying, right? He's saying that even the good thing, even the bad thing is a learning. There is nothing called enemy. There is, the enemy is only your mind. What does it mean? Right? In the same situation, in the same breath, see, this is the beauty as to how a master looks at it, right? In the same breath as to where you are emotionally charged, both positive, negative, what happens in a situation when, in an ordinary situation, how are you supposed to be there? Anyone? In an ordinary situation, there is nothing happening. There is no emotions. Okay, in a very ordinary situation, how do you take this?
Just observe.
Exactly.
Observe it.
You attune. Absolutely, you're spot on. You attune to your present awareness in that moment, right? You attune yourself into that present moment. No distractions, nor boredom. You're not bringing the boredom where you're killing yourself to death, or you are distracted with something else in your life. Okay, I don't have anything to do. Let me go do this thing again and again, again and again, again. Even in that ordinary situation where nothing is happening emotionally, there is no feeling, there is, the thoughts are like in a very balanced situation, you attune to that present moment, right? It's like, you observe that moment, you sink into that moment. It's like, the sun rays falling on a leaf, right? A tree's leaves, right? It just falls like that. You're just observing, it's a rhythm of your game, right? How you bring the whole thing together. There is absolutely nothing, right? You are in that very present moment. You're just sinking it in. That's it. Absolutely no reaction whatsoever. You're not telling yourself that, hey, what is going on? You're not, there is no mental chattering going on, commenting or judging that situation, or hey, you have nothing else to do. What else is going on in your life? No voices, no inner voices pulling you, no judgmental thoughts coming your way, right? So what is that is you realize that even in the silence, love is everywhere, right? And we just have to recognize that. We just have to, that's the practice. That is the practice. See, we see that when we are in a very silent mode, right? And then when you are aware of that silence, you feel some kind of energy, some kind of moving happening in your system. That is energy, actually, right? In silence, accumulate energy in silence. But that doesn't happen often to us, right? And the practice of getting into it is what meditation is all about. But everybody is stuck in a point where I am doing meditation for this half an hour, this 1 hour, and you are asking that mind be quiet, mind be quiet, mind be quiet. And mind is saying that, no, I'm not going to be quiet. I'm not going to be quiet. This conflict is happening all the time. Why is this happening all the time? Anyone? Think about it, the question what I asked.
What's the question, sir?
Lost the question itself. It's interesting. So the question is, when you are sitting for meditation, you're sitting for 45 minutes or 1 hour, whatever time, you are telling your mind to quiet down. Your mind is telling, no, I'm not going to quiet down. What is happening? It's the conflict, right? That's going on.
Yeah, confusion, conflict,
Why?
inner chatter, and
Why is that?
no particular clarity. All
Good.
kinds
Why?
of.
Why is that? Why is that? Why all those things are happening?
Because you are in the mind state.
No, you see, you sat in meditation.
Oh, sat
You
in
want
meditation.
you want your mind to be quiet. But what is
Quiet.
happening? Your mind is opposite. It is all over the place. right? And then you are getting up at the end of the hour and saying that I meditate. The question is, did you actually meditate?
No, you are not in meditation.
Then why is it not working?
Because there is no mind in meditation. So you will be with nothing, like you will be lost in some kind of nothingness, a void state. You should be in the void state. If the mind chatter is going on,
that's the point, right?
That is,
yeah. See, the point is, your mind is chattering. You don't want your mind to chatter. So what is happening in meditation every day when you're sitting? The conflict is happening. And then you are getting up as if that you did meditation today. Your quota is done. And then you're going. Like that every day is happening. Years are passing by. But there is no experience. What are we learning from? What is wrong here? What is wrong? What is going on?
You are not connecting to the self.
You need to acquire more energies.
Acquire more energies. Okay, more, deeper.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Sit for a longer time, longer meditations, maybe 3 hours a day will definitely help.
That's one way to look at it, but not necessarily. What else? Think about it. It's a very simple yet profound response.
Live in presence. There's always conflict between past and then worry about future. Just live in presence and then tell the mind that at this moment, just only do this.
So when should you say that you be in present? In the meditation time? While you are in that state of
whenever mind is wandering, that mind is wandering.
In the meditation?
No, even in the regular day-to-day activities, like from morning, other than meditation also, if we train the brain to be in the mind, to be in the present moment, it definitely helps.
Excellent. That's the answer. That is the answer, my dear friends. It is that 1 hour sitting, what you are doing in meditation, you are fighting with your mind. You have an intention, your mind has an alternate intention. It is the fight between these intentions, and whoever is strong will win. So in most cases, I am not able to go into the void. I am not able to experience that state of being, state of meditation, because my mind is almost winning every time. Why is that happening? If you ask that question, that one question alone will answer the puzzle of the life. When you ask that question, the answer should be very plain and simple, that the 23 hours, what I am doing is what is impacting that 1 hour, what I am trying to do. That's the truth, whether we like it or not. So what is happening? That 23 hours when you are awake, you are keeping your mind wherever you want. You are taking it, you are eating, you are doing whatever you want to do. And then whenever you decide that now come and sit, I want you to be quiet, it is revolting. That's why it is equally important that you have the wisdom, you have the knowledge, you have the greater understanding of what you are trying to do before you actually do it. Right? So if you realize this is exactly the point, right? In any given situation, when you are in that awareness, what you should catch hold of is not the movements coming and going, the movement that is still. How do I do that? I need to have an enormous awareness. I mean, I need to be very aware. And when I'm outside of meditation, how do I pick that up? By being present in the moment. That's why this has to be practiced. This is not about talking. This has to be, you have to practice it. Otherwise, this will slip. You need a lot of subtle intelligence. Without that, you won't be able to catch hold of that movement. That movement will slip away like that, just like that. Even before you realize it, your mind goes into past and comes into the future. The present is gone. Right? That's why they said past is a history, future is a mystery, present is a gift. And you're not able to enjoy the gift for the very reason you let your mind wander. Because you have not put your mind through that practice. So when we bring this knowledge into the path and we say that, okay, now I wanted to learn this from my perspective. Okay, I want to sit in meditation. I've got this master's knowledge now. I'm going to take this knowledge. I'm going to put this in my meditation and see how I look at it. So what the masters are saying is, at any given moment, do not miss that present. So what happens? You go, you bring it back. You go, you bring it back. This way, bring it back. That way, bring it. This has to be practiced for some time. When? Not when you are in meditation, outside of meditation. When your mind catches off this process of going, coming back, going, coming back, going, coming back, 23 hours, leave about your sleep time, 6 hours, another 17, 15 hours, whatever time you sleep, and the rest of it. What happens naturally when you go sit in meditation, in seconds, your mind will come back. That's the practice. Without that, you cannot go deep. There is nothing without, you may be talking about, hey, I'm sitting in meditation for hours and hours. Hours means nothing. Until you have mastered the way to get beyond the state, right? Or at least to the meditative state, it is only preparation, right? It is only preparation. So the law of one teachings are helping you to understand that this concept of whatever I'm in the moment, that awareness that I need to bring in not just when I'm doing things, even when I am outside, even when I am doing my ordinary things. I have nothing in life, but try to be attuned to that moment, right? You have to consciously be aware to choose your understanding over judgments, right? Your ability to have that separatedness, not go fall for that separatedness. I am no different than others. I am superior to others. I am indifferent to others. Others are my slaves. Others are my bosses. You may do things, in the material world, different things a different way. When a cop comes to you, you may probably behave a different way. When you go into a, this one, right? Where doctor's office, you may talk to them and all. That is all material stuff. But in here, the concept, what you have to hold is everything that I am touching, everything that I am seeing is my significant, is my other, right? So that is how the growth comes in. That is where the wisdom comes in, right? And then we have to honor every situation as a catalyst, as an opportunity for our spiritual growth. Even a smallest of the smallest thing happening, you should be able to embrace that moment. Isn't it? I mean, tell me if I'm way off the hook here, right? Every moment that is happening to each of us, we have to cherish that moment. We have to look that moment to see what is there for me. That can only happen when you are awareness, right? That's where, masters are saying, the law of one teaches us that in the worst moment, look for love in that very moment. It's not easy. Without practice, it is not possible. Even in your in the worst of your disappointments, in your extreme frustration, in your, worst moment, still look for love. There is love in that moment. If you are only able to put that perspective, bring that perspective. So And that alone will transform. The moment you start to look for that higher energy in that lowest energy state, what happens? You have shifted. Your focus or your attention actually shifted the energy levels from lower to highest. Love is the highest, right? Love is God. God is love. That's it. There is nothing you cannot separate. It's like, fire has got heat. Heat is fire. That's it. Like that, our illusion, our perception, our thought process, our ability to understand and consume things internalizing it, everything will shift automatically when we start to bring that practice in life. That's why it's very, very important that we just not listen about it. We start to bring some of these into a practical. That's why they gave these teachings, right? They're saying that, hey, this technique, you use it. This technique, you try to impart it. And this requires a constant pace of time, that you have to remember yourself. How you remember is up to you. Whether you want to write a cheat sheet, or you want to put it on an alarm, or you want to put it on your iPhone, or you want to put some kind of, in your book, journals, you want to write it. It is up to you, how you want to bring it together. But always try to look in that worst situation. Okay, try this, please try this. Okay, when you are going through certain emotional state, next time when you hit it, try to look for that love. Just imagine that you are the love, and this is the moment for me to learn. Shift that perspective from negative to positive and see what happens. Everything will come in line. Everything will start to work towards you. So recognizing the catalyst, right? When you are in the worst of your disappointments, in your own experiences, in your own expectations, the desires, right? All you have to say is all experiences are catalyst. This is not a moment of punishment. This is a moment of learning. It's a teaching, right? What distortions are there within me that have to be revealed with this education, right? With this situation. Is it attachment? Is it control? Is it my unworthiness? Or is it a desire for external validation? Whatever those 4 or 5 things are, look for those things and acknowledge your free will. Acknowledge your free will. What happens is, in case of disappointments, you feel like you're betrayed, right? Everybody feels like you're betrayed in a disappointment, right? Hey, I was expecting this to come my way, but it did not happen. Somebody did not do their part, hence I am suffering. You are kind of, in a way, you are losing your creative power, right? See, on one side, we are understanding, the masters are saying that you are the co-creator. On the other side, you are saying that I am dependent upon situations and influences of other people, making things happen for me, right? What does it mean? That they're conflicting to each other, right? So the power of choice and the power of how you respond to a situation matters how you are executing your free will. Your free will can go either ways. You can either go and take control of the situation and then overpower it and then do things, reactively and all that. Or you can start thinking about it to say that, okay, with my free will, I want to really understand. That's why acknowledge your free will to say that you have choice. It is the choice that makes the difference. Right? See the others as your own self. When you see others as your own self, then you are compassionate. You do. Why would you disappoint your own self, right? You won't do that. So if you have the other person also in the same lines, you don't disappoint others, right? You always look for that hope. You always look for that opportunity. How do I help others? How do I serve others? How do I give back to society? How do I, do things? He's like my brother. He's my sister. How do I do that? Right? They are not separate from me. It's like your family. Your family is now not just within your own family. Your family is the entire world, right? Or universe in this case. So that is the other one that they're asking. The law of one is teaching, right? Feel fully without repression. In the encourages and they support us in every emotion. You have to honor it, you have to integrate yourself in it, and there is a level of learning in it. If I continue to disappoint for every situation, and if a disappointment is hurting me, you have to go deep to understand why that is happening to you, right? Feel fully. You will know the answer. You just have to be patient. That's it. Sit with that awareness that, okay, this disappointment is really hurting me. What is happening? Don't try to avoid it. Don't try to shy away from it. Don't try to suppress it. Don't try to, sometimes what happens, we diminish it, right? We kind of, you are emotionally 50% charged. You tell yourself, no, I'm not charged. I'm only 20% charged. You try to shrink it. Don't do any of that. Just sit in that awareness. Okay. Breathe into it with your love and say, hey, I'm breathing. I'm the infinite creator. I'm the co-creator. Okay, this disappointment is hurting me. This individual is hurting me. Or this particular situation is not working in my common good. Why? Why is that thought process going on? Why is my system taking this in that way? Right? What happens is, it's called, there is something called transmutation. Have you heard about it? Transmutation, right? When you introspect and then you take a particular situation within yourself and then you sit and ponder on it, you keep thinking about it, you keep going deep and deep with awareness and with love within yourself, right? It's called transmutation. You're shifting the whole process from that negative to the extreme positive. And when you go deep into it, you will start to realize that what you're holding on is just in the upper layer. Once you go deep, there's nothing there, right? And obviously, you have to seek love in every moment. What is love? Means, again, that balance, coming back into that middle ground, right? Even if you feel pain, right, you have to open your heart. Even in the painful situation, you have to open. Even if somebody is hurting you, you still have to be open. You may ask the question, if somebody is hitting me or somebody is doing something bad to me, how can I take it as a positive? The question is not about that somebody. The question is about how you are receiving it. So when a movement is happening to you, when a situation is coming to you in your life, you should know that that situation came to you because you are the one who created to begin with. Whether this lifetime or the previous lifetime, it doesn't matter. But you are the source of it. That's why it's coming back to you. Perhaps you should say it's a lesson that I have to be learned. Perhaps I'm getting slapped for what I should not be doing. This is like alert my way, right? Or maybe a simple situation where you have to be open instead of closing yourself down. Whatever may be that situation, right? In that moment, if you are aware, you are not reacting, you are not doing a tit for tat, and you are centered, and you are carrying the higher energies, what happens? Obviously, you are in charge of the situation. The situation is no longer in charge of you. You are in charge of the situation. Isn't this what mastery is all about? That's exactly what it is. So when we bring some of these practices, not some of it, all of it, you actually shift yourself from an ordinary, living by the situation with a mastery of everything, mastery of the situation. Now, no thought can come and go without your awareness. What happens in your life is based upon how you want it to happen. Not the way it is happening, you have to settle with it. There is a huge difference, right? Hey, my life is not in my control. I want my steering to go right, but right now my life is going left. I have no control. Why you have no control? Because you have not practiced some of these things. You have not brought some of these thought processes into your life to make sure that you carry more energy than a given situation. In every situation, you are giving the situation more energy than you. You are becoming smaller, the situation is taking you over. The cocoon is situation, you are inside that cocoon. So what happens? Naturally, the situation will consume. But what the teachers, what the masters are teaching us, scriptures are teaching us is the other way around. Situation can never be over you. Situation is always a tiny thing in front of you because you are everything. Right? So the more and more I start to acknowledge this concept to myself, even when repeating, I need to bring love in every movement. I need to be aware, fully aware. I need to start to embrace situations and always be in that balanced state. Remember the unity. Never forget that unity, right? Even the disappointments, right? Illusion is there. Whenever I get disappointed, I am looking at a thing or a particular person or a particular event or a situation, whatever it is, that thing is no different than me. We are all unisync, right? Life is not against me. Life is for me, right? It reminds us all is one. One is all, right? So the divine plan is for us to come and learn these situations and become that conscious awareness being so that you become the co-creator by choice, right? But what we are doing is, instead of trying to bring back that co-creator power, we are letting go that co-creator power and we are thinking that I am nothing, I am nobody, I got to suffer. Pain is the only way of living, right? Where is surrenderness in that? Whatever you have learned, whatever you have been practicing, even some of us are going into, we go to temples, we do a lot of religious work and all that. Where is surrenderness? If you surrender to the situation, you have lost even before you begin. Yes, absolutely, you don't have to fix everything. Absolutely, you are not 100% spiritual yet. Absolutely, you will not be able to win over every heart. It is not going to happen. And for sure, life will have ups and downs, for sure. Whether you like it or not, it is meant to happen, yes. Right? Spirituality is not about control. Spirituality is about surrender. Becoming that situation, and you and situation are combining, becoming one. At that point, the situation is no longer there. You are there. That's it. You are that situation. Only with that acceptance, you gain that higher wisdom and higher energy. Right? So I accept this, I trust this, I love this. And that alone is liberation. This is the higher teaching again, right? It requires a lot of practice for us to be able to stand in that situation to say that this is how I'm gonna look at things going forward. It's not coming from here, it is coming from here, heart. The higher energies are operating from here. If I switch this off, I will naturally operate from here, from heart. Right now, this is chatting way too much. I have lost the connection to my heart, and hence suffering. In one situation, let's suppose there is like one small example. Some individual is going through a particular situation. 10 of us are looking at. Each of us will take that situation differently. Why is that? Why is that? One situation, 10 of us will have 10 different versions. Anyone?
Because the perception levels in different individuals is different. Some may sit and see the situation. Some may get involved with the situation. Some may take care of the situation, like that. It depends. Some may help you out of the situation.
Exactly. So it's the individual's mindset. The situation is the same thing. Okay. Your inner self, the situation's self, they both are same. They are not moving. What is moving is in between this, in between this. They are the ones moving. I have a different mindset. Hence, I understood the situation differently. You have a different mindset, and hence you understood likewise all other 8 individuals. So, what is truth in this? Both selves are truth. Everything else is drama. So, if I am able to bring it back to the truth, there is no reaction. There is no drama. Gone. That is liberation. It doesn't mean that situation is not happening. Situation is happening. It doesn't mean that you are not part of it. You're not avoiding. You are right in there. But yet, it does not affect you in any ways. Mentally, emotionally, physically. That's the point. That can only come to you when you practice it, not by talking.
Could it also be a particular situation triggers different emotions in different individuals, and some of those emotions may be little positive side, some may be negative side. Like a particular situation may trigger sympathy in others. It may trigger jealousy in others. So as long as we control our emotions.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Exactly right. If the mindset is different, then the corresponding emotions you carry and the feelings you carry are different. And the way you are looking at the situation is different. So obviously your perceived notion on it will totally be different than the other one who is looking at it in a different perspective. Yes, absolutely. You're right. That's all living, right? So even in one situation, why we react is because I'm connecting myself into that situation, right? You don't have to, but you are. Why I'm doing it is because of my weakness. I'm not strong enough to really withhold that situation is no different than me, right? I don't have that wisdom, higher wisdom, nor I don't have the realization on the ground that this situation is happening somewhere and I'm not nowhere related to this. I'm just a witness.
Right.
So if either of them are not coming our way, then what happens? We fall for it. That's it. So that's the reason, right? It is important that you carry that balanced energy, that comes with that awareness, that what we were talking about, right? Whether you accept and surrender, whether you remember the unity, whether you are in that love, the means of it, whether you are fully in the situation, whether you are able to bring back that higher wisdom. All these are helping us to be able to balance in a given situation where when you are aware, that only when you are aware, there is no mistake. What does no mistake mean? You are taking that karmic lesson as it comes to you, and you are learning out of it. That means that you are trying to outgrow it. That means that karma will dissolve for you, and you are not adding any more additional karma because of this karma. That's what it means. Most of the time, what happens? I fall for these karmic lessons. I'm trying to learn it the hard way. In the process, I may be learning the lesson, but I have created 10 other things. Because I should not have done A, B, C, D, but I did it for me to learn it. By force, I'm learning. Right? Sometimes it so happens that you don't learn it at all. Sometimes you avoid it. Sometimes you postpone it. I mean, a lot of different ways how you can look at it. Right? So we'll talk about that. So I think this brings up that excellent concept that we should talk about the law of the 12 guiding principles of law of karma, right? How the law of karma governs in the world. We talk about only one law, that is universal law, law of karma. But law of karma operates on 12 other principles. And those principles, law of, how you look at it, how you take it, how you process it, how you, action and reaction it, act and, respond to it. A lot of those things actually come together when you are working in karma. So karma can be dissolved in multiple different ways. Not about, I'm going to keep doing dissolving karma, right? That's not why you are here. You are here to learn those heavy lessons that you have to learn. And the rest of it, you should know how to let go. It is because of my ego, I'm attaching things. While I'm trying to learn 10 things, I'm also gaining 100 more things. It's because of my attachment. Right? So we'll connect next week it's a very fascinating subject when you look at that, the 12 guiding principles for law of karma. Everything will come together as to why things are happening for our situations and why we are in this situation the way we are and all that.
Maybe we can discuss this topic in tomorrow's satsang, Anil garu. This sounds very interesting. That's why.
Yeah, we can certainly talk. So so that's where it is, right? So I think the law of one and the I am Ra, these are the teachings that we have to take home. And then even if you are able to not get everything, at least get half of it or some of it, it's a win. It's a big win, huge win towards, service to others is the way of living. Service to others. You always have to, brain tattoo it. Serving others is the way of living. That's the fastest way we reach the co-creator. Right? We talk about third density, fourth density, fifth density, sixth density, seventh density. We talked about all the dimensions. We covered a lot of ground in the last couple of weeks. But if you really sum up everything together, where it comes down to is that you have to be aware in the moment, and anything that you try to practice to be in that moment, for your awareness to work is the essence of everything. Then only there is growth. Then only you are reaching the co-creator state. Then only, it's not like you're reaching, you're accepting inside that I am a God. So with that, any questions?
Sir, is karmic debt is there for every individual who is born on this earth?
Yes, every individual will have to go through karma.
Will carry the karmic debt?
Yes.
Or some sect not like that?
See, when a particular individual who is coming for the welfare of the humanity, for the welfare of the universe, higher masters who are coming just to do some service here, they don't carry any karma. They are coming to do service, right?
All
they
the
are doing
ordinary
it out
people.
Of all the
ordinary people will carry the karmic debt.
Ordinary people will carry karmic debt. Otherwise, you're not here.
Yes, only the masters are different.
Grandmasters.
Only
the grandmasters who are here, you will know that, their life and all, you will be able to easily look at it and then know that.
Yeah, they come to to do the service, and
that's it. They don't have anything. It's only compassion and love that brings them, with that kind of a thing. They come and they teach the higher, you're not able to get it, let me tell him in a different way, let me tell him in a different way, let me come down 2 levels, 4 levels, 5 levels. That's how they come down, and eventually, help you understand it, and then they transcend back.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So in order to get to that level of, to the grandmaster's level, right? Detachment from all these emotions and this regular life. I think it takes many janmas, I believe, right? I mean, it's not that easy.
You know, it is not about the janmas. It is about how you are taking the information. Yes, I mean, yes, you are right in a way that the soul lessons have to be brought in, right? The soul may have to evolve from minerals to plants to animals and eventually to humans and all, right? But even after coming into the humans, it may very well take so much of lifetimes, right? So now what you can do is you can shorten it by your association, by your learning, by your ability to surrender or accept, whatever those 3-4 things are, right? So there is definitely that factor that you have to go through it. It's not like day one you become enlightened, but it doesn't have to be like infinite life, right? So there is a strike in the balance, right? Somewhere in the middle ground is where the answer is. You don't have to. It will not happen day one. It will not happen day 1,000. There is like in the middle is when it happens.
No, because like even if we are aware, say for example, 2 years, 3 years continuously, suddenly something happens and we'll just like without our knowledge. I mean, like just moving the house. Example, I'm saying. I mean, like we'll be so much carried away. I mean, like tied up with the regular life. Will be out of the awareness, and that's it. It skips.
That's why it's a daily practice. That's why see, when you look at it, consistency is key to success. You have to attain that state. Until that time, you have to practice it. It is like, if you want to go reach the Mount Everest, you have to go to the top of the Everest. Even if you are 99th percentile in your climbing process, you're not there yet. So similarly, when you are doing the spiritual practices, the practices have to become the DNA for you. They have to become like, that's how the life is like that, right? There is no difference between, I'm doing this versus I'm being. You are in that state all the time. Only in that context is when you don't have to bring it. It happens naturally because that's all you are. That's what I was saying it. Unconsciously competent. The fourth learning, mastery. Until that time, everybody has to practice it daily until you get that. But once you get that, you don't have to keep doing it. There is no doing at that point. It's all happening. That's it. Because you have crossed that state.
And conducting oneself in a dharmic lifestyle, that also helps you to bring the karmic debt less.
It is must, man. It is must. See, dharmic life and all, those are must, right? Without, see,
yes,
like I said
every
earlier,
day.
the 23 hours, what you're doing with your mind matters. And if your mind is all over the place, it's not going to work. Right? So you got to bring your, the way you are earning, the way your desires, the way your lifestyles, everything has to be dharmic. And then eventually, once you live the life of dharmic, because dharmic is all about in the action, right?
Action.
Dharmanchara. Dharmanchara means it's in action. It's not in the talking. It's in action. When you live that life for some time, then yes, things will start.
You are unknowingly carried away by that lifestyle. Your mind.
In a good way, you bring it. In a good way, you bring it.
Yeah. You should be in a good way. Correct. And conducting yourself without doing any sins like that. Carrying yourself.
It won't happen, right? See, the reason why we are doing conflicting things within ourselves is the lack of wisdom. It's the lack of wisdom ignorance. That's making you to do exactly. We call that ignorance, but then you have heard about it, right? Hey, you have to do this right thing, but then your mind is saying go do the other thing, right? So what happens?
You have to draw the line.
Exactly. It is the fight between your intelligence and your mind, and sometimes your mind wins, sometimes your
intelligence wins. But you have to follow the intelligence way. But you have to follow
the right way is always the intelligence, provided the intelligence is sufficiently fed with the knowledge. Right? That's important. Right?
Knowledge. Yes, yes.
Because even if that's why, a smart, intelligent fellow, if he does something wrong, it's very difficult to catch him. The reason for that is he's smart and he knows it. He's a master in it. And now he's the one who is cheating it. It's going to be difficult. That's why, in the same lines, if you have intelligence, you are using your intelligence, but your intelligence is kind of dragging you to this point, then there is no one to help. Right? You are done.
Yeah. Follow yogi, but don't copy yogi. That concept is there now. Follow yogi, don't copy yogi.
Right. Correct.
That's all.
See, there is a saying, right? A fool is still a fool, even with a technique. Right? A fool with a technique is still a fool. So if we think that, okay, with meditation, I'm gonna with the tool like meditation, I'm gonna say I'm not a fool. You are still a fool, but if you're not able to learn from it, you are supposed to learn things out of it. You're supposed to accept the situations. You're supposed to understand the greater concept of what life is all about. Understand what spirituality means. I mean, you got to embrace all those things that come your way as part of your experiences. Otherwise, you are a fool, because a fool is a fool, right? Even if you're technical. So it's very important that the learning is happening on a daily basis until you reach that point where you are that.
Yeah. And applying the principles in the way of life, like meditation. Yes. Yeah, in these years we are doing meditation, we are getting some good results.
Good.
Most of the good results only. And mind chatter slowed down, everything like that.
Keep doing it. That's it.
It is walking with us.
Exactly.
So
You will know.
Yeah.
You will
Anytime
know when you are
we
done.
skip the meditation, the mind is reminding, like you are not in the good way, like that it is reminding. Come on, let's go for meditation.
See, that's the natural instinct, right? Yeah, then it
natural
really works.
instinct, and it is reminding like a alarm clock.
Oh, very
Anytime
nice.
you should follow that.
Very nice.
Yeah,
You're
we are good.
practicing it well.
We are getting good benefits because of this meditation. Like in the older days, I got this BP somewhat abnormal. Now it is quite normal. My doctor is also he
Very nice.
he is asking me what to do. Tell me some tips. I literally I told the doctor, sir, I am following that meditation, everything, those techniques. It is helping me a lot.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. And everything, the cool way, calming the mind and not being reactive. Those things I'm getting in my way.
Excellent.
Yeah. And also manifestations is also working. And everything. I can give a greater part to this meditation. Greater. Yeah. You are the one who showed this way to us. So
I'm
that's,
nobody. Please don't
sir, you are the
bring me there.
grandmaster, so
No.
master for us.
No, there is no master.
Because
There is
we
no
don't know
master,
anything,
nobody.
no? We don't know
If
anything. So
there
you
is
showed us the
anyone,
way. And
no.
Bunny is also doing the meditation. She is also a regular meditator. And in our family also we are preaching meditation, but nobody is coming yet. But how far they will come,
Thanks
I
to
don't know.
Patriji. Always
Patriji.
thank to Patriji. He's the one who gave this platform. He's the one who
Yes,
gave
platform.
this system,
Yeah.
the technique, everything. His brainchild is what we are carrying. So if there is a grandmaster, he's the one, and we should all thank him for whatever, even though he doesn't take it that way, but we should still do that as
Yes.
We are all his descendants, right? Next levels.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Anyone else? Any other questions? All right. No questions, then let's call it tonight, and then we'll see you all next week with the fascinating subject, right? We'll talk about law of karma there. We'll correct some things tomorrow as well. Right? Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.